All right, folks, let me call the meeting to order. I'm sorry that we're a few minutes late getting off the starting line, but this is a regularly scheduled Greer City Council meeting called and convened on March 25th, 2014. Having called the meeting to order, I would like to ask our Boy Scouts that are with us this evening if they would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then following that, Councilwoman Judy Albert will pronounce our invocation. So if you will stand for both the Pledge of Allegiance and our invocation. And gentlemen, you can lead as you desire.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we do thank you again for this beautiful day that you've given us. We thank you, dear Lord, that we are able to see your majestic work each day, regardless of what the weather is. We know that you are there. We pray, dear Lord, for those that are hurt and those that are suffering at this time with their lost ones, not knowing what situation may be. We just pray that you will comfort them and may your will be done. We pray that you will continue to bless our city and bless our country and be with our leaders in Washington and throughout the nation, the local to the high. We just praise you and thank you for all that you do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
We take time at the first of our meetings to entertain folks that would like to speak during a public forum. Public forum is a time that we set aside for people to speak to items of relevance to the agenda this evening. And so we have one that is coming this evening, Ms. Allison Ringer. She'd like to speak in regards to the CDBG funds. Ms. Ringer, the podium is yours, and if you will just give us your name and address as a matter of record, we will hear your concerns. Thank you. Yeah, but you're fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Allison Ringer, and I live at 105 Albert Street, and I'm representing the Trade Street Neighborhood Association. And we just found out about this meeting, and unfortunately only I and Vicki Farmer could make it because we just found out about it last night. But we polled everybody through our social media outlets for our neighborhood association, and we just wanted to speak to the first item of new business on the allocation of Greenville County CDBG and home funds. And we were talking mostly about infrastructure needs in our neighborhood and about how the mayor and yourselves have been working so hard with walkability with Greenville County and the Parks and Rec Department. And we were just saying that we love all the work that you've done with repairing sidewalks, but we still have a lot of needs for new sidewalks on, let's see, the continuation of sidewalks on Trade Street. It kind of it ends right on the 500 block, and right in the middle of somebody's driveway, and it needs to continue through the 600 and 700 block, especially because there's a lot of people walking through people's yards and throwing litter, cutting across and just ruining property that way. And also sidewalks on the 200 and 300 block of Cannon Avenue, especially some kids on my street, on Albert Street, they walk to the bus stop. And even when I walk with my 2-year-old daughter in the stroller, we're kind of like on the incline, which is, we have no storm drainage problems, which is great, but it's not good for walking because, I have a jogging stroller and I'm trying to push, and then there's, people from BMW, cutting through from 14 to 101, especially at different times of the day. And we have the traffic calming at the stop signs and great, police work as far as patrolling our neighborhood, but even more traffic calming measures are needed. As well as the traffic circle that was in the AIA plan, the American Institute of Architects. There's the 5 points for trade in Pelham and I think Mayfield kind of intersect right at the Church of God. So we just wanted to show our support and also ask for some more traffic calming measures and some more walkability features. And also on Pelham Street, there's 2 areas for 2 street lights. They're not out, but there just need to be more because it's dark in that area and there's a lot of elderly neighbors who want to feel safer in that area. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Council, that's all we have for public forum this evening. I would ask that you review the minutes from your council meeting on March the 11th, and after review, I'll entertain a motion that they be received.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any items of note to the clerk? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Ms. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Miss Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Well, it is always a treat to be able to recognize people that have reached milestones in their service with the city of Greer, but we do so tonight rather reluctantly because this is going to be a retirement, and it is a retirement after 23 years of service to the city of Greer, and this employee has served faithfully in our police department and has shouldered a big load over there. And I know that for all the reorganization that they will try to do to fill that hole and to fill that gap, that there's always going to be a special place for the work that Jolene Van Seal did for our police department. So Jolene, if you would join me, and we want to give you a couple of things, actually. One of which is a certificate of appreciation that says, "Congratulations upon your retirement from the city of Greer, presented in appreciation of 23 years of dedicated service to the city of Greer from February 28, 1991 to April 1st, 2014. And presented to you this day, the 25th of March. Thank you for all that you have done for us. And with that, we would like to present you with a gift as well, too. So please join me in thanking Ms. Van Seal for her service to the city.
Oh, you're going to make me cry. Don't do that. I guess all I really want to say is that back in 1991, and there's very few of us that remember that date. Tammy, you're one of them. This place was known as Greer, and it was a little wide spot in the road. And I am so proud to say that I have been part of the development of Greer, an international destination. And I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity to be part of that. I'm going to miss all of you something fierce, but I am very much looking forward to my future. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll tell you in just a second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jolene. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good luck.
With that, then, we'll move to Departmental Reports. Council, as always, the Departmental Reports are contained in your packet this evening. You'll see the activity for the month of February contained in there tonight, and we will entertain a motion from Mr. Seifert in regards to our financial report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we're pleased to present to you the financial reports for the period ended February 28, 2014. At that time, we have general fund revenue recorded of $11,569,586. General fund expenditures of $11,009,773. And that amount is 5% under budget on the expenditure side. Referencing the dashboards, we have a positive variance on the revenue of $167,380, a positive variance on the expenditure benchmark of $195,544. Those two combined is a positive variance for the period ending February 28th of $362,924. At the same time, we have a general fund cash balance of $7,816,632. Moving to the hospitality fund, we have a cash balance there of $850,064. Revenue recorded of $1,039,556, and that amount is 4% over budget on the revenue for hospitality, with expenditures recorded of $452,918 at this point in the budget year. Under the stormwater fund, we have a current cash balance of $835,229. Revenue recorded of $206,321. That's year to date. That money is cyclical and is coming in right now from the tax collection. So we will see that revenue approaching the budgeted amount in the next month or two as we continue the cash collections. And then we have expenditures in the stormwater fund of $216,183. And as always, we'll be happy to entertain any questions you may have now or in the future.
Council? David, as always, we're appreciative of the information and the work that you and your department do for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor and Council, if I may, as Mr. Seifert is leaving the podium, draw your attention, particularly in our building inspections code enforcement report. I'd like to point out during the month of February, under commercial construction valuations, that is not a misprint. We wanted to make sure that that is drawn to our attention. Last meeting, when we had the opportunity for Mr. Deaton to present some information and talk about those types of projects that are in our pipeline, and that it is indeed a healthy pipeline, it is certainly demonstrated when you look at the month of February. Valuation commercial development in the month of February only $6,637,099.08. That is remarkable investment for us in a single month. We're extremely encouraged by that, and also complemented by our single-family residential valuations in the month of February at $2,616,779.31. We are anticipating a very strong 2014. We've been indicating that through our communications as we were preparing for this year, and it certainly looks like that is materializing for us. We are encouraged by those numbers. We're excited by those numbers, but we are also very cautious of those numbers because it could very well be that it is just the tip of the iceberg of things to come, and so we're very much bracing for that. But again, wanted to bring that to your attention. It is contained within your reports. As you continue to look through those, if you have additional questions or comments, we're certainly available to entertain those.
Thank you for putting the box around it.
Yes.
I like that. Council, what he was telling us was as we begin our budget negotiations, the Department of Building and Development Standards are going to be asking for more help. So let's go ahead and get ready for that. So, inspectors, I can see it now. New inspectors. We can afford to at that rate. So that's a new benchmark for that crowd. We set aside time in our meetings for petitioners. Those are the folks that make arrangements to appear in public before the meeting relative to items in the community. And this evening we have Mr. James Center. Mr. Center is a resident of the Victor community and has some concerns about the railroad and inland port that he would like to share with council. Mr. Center, the podium is yours, sir. And if you would, as a matter of record, if you'll state your name and your address, we would appreciate it.
How y'all doing? My name's James Center, live on 207 Irving Street. I'm here to talk about the Port Authority, the City Council, and Norfolk Southern Railroad. You know, if y'all remember correctly, last summer when we had this meeting, they had all the forms up, the diagrams and everything, where they were going to put the berms, stop the noise and the vibration. Well, there's none of them up there, none of them. I've been lied to by the Port Authority, I've been lied to by the Norfolk Southern, and you know, the vibration is so bad, it's shaking our ceiling fans in the house when they come out in the mornings pulling the load. They're more, and Mr. Diggers made the comment, they ain't 2 more trains a day. Well, that's fine. There's one backs in down there and comes out, that's 1. And when they come out, that's 2. You know, you go through, so that's 4. And also, Mr. Diggers made the comment that he didn't know whether it was better or worse. There were some changes that wasn't made. Well, if he goes down there and looks, I'm sure that he's going to know that it ain't better, it's worse. People up there, there's several of us up here, and I've expressed concerns to Mr. Arrowwood and Wayne Griffin, and also the mayor. You know, it's pitiful. It's pitiful. You know, I know progress is good, but with progress comes responsibility. And responsibility is yours to make sure the city of Greer and the people in Greer don't get hoodooed and all. I mean, y'all voted on, you know, people vote for you and to pay your salary. So, you know, we just need all the help we can get. I don't think that's, you know, asking too much. The emergency, this morning, the train down there at 4th Street was 10 minutes. I was a paramedic for EMS for years. If you got 10 minutes holding you up, you know, trying to get somebody, because you live there with a heart attack or in a car wreck, trauma patient, you're not going to like it, or your family's not going to like it. So, you know, everything needs to be took into consideration. And, you know, we just need some help down there. Like I say, the vibration, the noise, and the vibration's bad. They're supposed to put the berms up just flat and with some trees. That's all it is. Like I say, it's just not what they said. And the lady, like I said, that Port Authority just lied out her teeth. And the man from Norfolk Southern, he told a lie too. And I've talked to the mayor about all this. And that's all. I just want everybody to know what we think down in Victor.
Thank you, sir. As we continue to follow that situation and continue to work to hopefully reach some resolution, we appreciate the input from those citizens that are most affected by it, and we continue to work to address those issues, albeit slowly, but hopefully surely. And indeed, I have had conversations with these folks in regards to these issues, and we'll continue to do so. So thank you, Mr. Senator, for your time this evening. With that, then, we're going to move to a presentation. We ask each department to do an annual presentation. It's typically spread out through the course of the year, and it is Chief Chris Harvey's and the fire department's time to do their annual report. And so with that, we are going to turn it over to the chief and his men and see what has taken place in 2013 and what's coming up in 2014. So Chief, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. First, you remember the fire department like we were standing on? The agenda says it's my report. This is their report. And I thank them for their service off the bat here tonight. You can sit down. I'm proud of the opportunity to be here again tonight and to go over the achievements of 2013 and also what we're starting in 2014. Okay. There we go. Start off with a little history lesson tonight. The fire department was organized in 1914, November 1st, 1914. So that, of course, will be our 100th anniversary this year. The city of Greer had put in a citywide water system, and the first fire chief of the city was Mac Fowler, who had command of 2 handrails, 500 feet of hose on each one. These handrails had to be pulled by the volunteer firemen. Apparently, the process caused the loss of a few houses, and because the city passed an ordinance that gave anyone who pulled one of these handrails to the scene of a fire a reward of $1. I don't think that ordinance is on the books anymore, Tim. I haven't seen it on there, so I think we pulled it out now. So, in 1919, the first fire truck was bought, and he was affectionately known as Cowboy Sam Mahaffey. He was hired to drive the truck. There were 3 volunteer firemen who stayed at the fire station at night, and they were paid $10 a month. I'm sure that was a lot of money back then. I had the opportunity of actually meeting Mr. Marshall Pennington, who was one of them that stayed in his elder years. This would have been in the 70s I met him. He used to come to my grandfather's drugstore. R.B. Cobbin, who joined the department in 1933 as a volunteer, and then went to work full-time for the city as a fireman in February 1937. Cobbin was promoted to the second truck, the first truck. Wait a minute, I'm about ahead of my, I can't read my writing here. One year later, he was promoted to fire chief. Cobbin retired on February 1st, 1977, after 40 years of service. The city bought his first bumper in 1919. The second truck was in 1941, which is the truck that we had restored. There was a 51 Ford that was bought later. And in reading this article, I said that he conveniently left out the 1963 Chevrolet that we bought, and then we had a 74 bumper. And at the time this article was written in 1976. The 1919 Seagrave was traded in, and according to the article and the stories over the years, it wound up in Orangeburg, South Carolina. But through our history, we haven't been able to find anybody in Orangeburg that says it. They never remember anything being in the truck coming to Orangeburg. The volunteers in the picture are a good history there. Chief Collins in the picture, B.A. Fincher, who was one of the police chiefs at one time, Cowboy Mahaffey, W.N. Pennington, W.R. Hunt, Marshall Pennington, Luke Jones, who I knew, and Howell Davis, Dick Singleton, who I knew. This was Martha White's father, and Bill Allen standing at the door. Now, I don't know if Mr. Fowler was a bad fire chief, or back in the days of the volunteers, it wasn't uncommon to have a new chief every year. But in the city directory of 1915, it lists G.W. Hoach, which I don't know if any of y'all, but I've never heard that name in the city of Greer. Now, I even went through the cemetery over here looking to see if I saw any of the names. But he was fire chief. The city was divided into 4 wards, which you knew which ward the fire was by the roof siren and how many blasts of the sirens were whistled back then. Mr. Singleton actually told me that instead of using the roof siren, they used the steam whistle that was on the one of the old oil mills that were down on Moore Street. So it's interesting how we started out, and if you've ever had the opportunity to ride in an open cab truck, even in the pouring rain or in 30-degree weather, or a lot of y'all know Skinny Williams, who does a lot of wood carvings. He told me a story that came to his house and a long time ago on Arlington Road. He lived on Arlington Road to a fire, and they drove that truck then. It really makes you appreciate the fact what our forefathers went through. And that's why it was such an important project for us to be able to get the truck back and restore it into those conditions. But we've come a long ways from paying people $1 to pull the hose reel, and luckily a lot of progress has been made since then. Of course, our project that was near and dear to my heart this past year was the completion of our goal to get the old engine 2 restored. Great community project. Nobody I think that I went to and asked for donations turned us down. We've had the opportunity in the cover photo you saw this year. One of our retired firefighters, Tom Oliver, passed away several months ago, and we used that truck to carry the body to the cemetery. It was so cold that morning I couldn't get the key out of the switch when I got to the cemetery. But it was very. What was ironic was he'd actually rode on that truck to many fires, and we actually had a picture where they were doing public education with Tom in it too. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Captain Paul Brown, and he's going to talk about the 100-year badge that all our firemen are wearing this year, and he'll pass a sample around to you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Chief Aubrey and I kind of put our heads together, kind of wanted to come up with something that would be really special for the guys during the 100-year celebration. So he did mention Miss Singleton, Martha Singleton White. Her grandfather and father both were members of the department. I live next door to her son, so I said, "Your mom wouldn't happen to have an old badge, would she?" He said, "Actually, she does." So I was able to get the badge. We were able to send that badge out for quote, and we found a company in California that basically did a copy of the badge. And so we have our 100-year badge. I'll pass it around, but the middle one is the original. And so the other two are our centennial badge. So for the year of 2014, all the paid firefighters and volunteers who are working will be wearing that badge. My guys just left out on the call just now, so they were wearing their badge. So it's been a very special keepsake. I've already had several people in the community point it out, but a very nice gift for us to wear for 2014. But also in 2013, we had some new employees brought on. Mr. Firefighter Blanchard, Firefighter Collins, Firefighter Pittman, and Firefighter Hannah were all hired in 2013. Firefighter Blanchard came from the Parker District Fire Department. Firefighter Collins came from Anderson County from a volunteer department. And Firefighter Pittman and Firefighter Hannah both came from Boiling Springs Fire Department, but they were also volunteers with us as well. So it was really good to bring them on to the paid staff. But ultimately, our mission for 2013 and every year is to deliver the highest level of emergency services using the latest technology, training, and education to protect our constituents, their property, and the environment.
I apologize, I'm having to fill in for our Fire Marshal Scott Keeley tonight. The stomach virus has hit his house, and we prefer that it stay at his house, so we will take care of it. One of the major things that we did this past year was we switched our inspections to emergency reporting online, and we're using our iPads. We also, all our reporting is done through emergency reporting online. It can actually be done or can be started at the scene through the iPads that they're carrying on each shift carries. And they can start the report there and finish it as they get back to the station. Captain Keeley serves on numerous committees, serves on the Planning and Advisory Committee, which is a part of one of our steps toward the strategic plan. He serves on the Greenville Hospital System Safe Kids Coalition. He's the Executive Secretary of the South Carolina Fire Marshal Association. Both Fire Marshal Keeley and Deputy Fire Marshal Howell, along with Captain Davis and Josh Oldtimers, serve on the Spartanburg County Fire Investigation Team. Captain Keeley is responsible for updating the computer-aided dispatch on the fire side. He also works together on our grant management with Captain Brown and Captain Holzheimer's, and that's also a strategic plan item. And he manages the incident reporting software. He constantly goes in and reevaluates reports that are done. The captain's on duty to sign off for them. He goes back in to make sure the narratives are what they need to be and that they're covering all aspects of the scene. Some special projects the fire prevention have spent 174 man-hours on, or some of those actually are assisting the police department special investigations. We are still going out periodically and checking the Allen Bennett Hospital property, and we assist code enforcement officers in rental properties, grants, et cetera. Some consecutive fire statistics. We went from our inspections this past year was 1,190 inspections with 565 violations. There was 556 fire prevention training hours. 20 fires were investigated. Conducted 83 building plan reviews. That is a big increase over the past year. And issued 110 certificate of occupancies. Our fire permits, actually the fire permits for 2013 have dropped down, but 2014 has been wide open, so they've been very, you can see that the dollar amount was bigger, but we were down 9 permits issued from the previous year of 30. Fire and life safety education is also coordinated through the Fire Prevention Bureau. Shifts participate in this also. The child passenger safety seats are done by shift personnel. And we conducted 264 inspections on car seats this year. And again, the numbers are around 99%, or either something's wrong with the installation or the seats have been recalled, and if they're, correct me if I'm wrong, if they're over 6 years old, they have to be replaced now. And it also gives us a person to have a chance to talk about fire safety when we come in and do these inspections, you know, and we do these for anybody and everybody, so we see all classes of people, and you know, we ask them, you know, have you got a working smoke detector in your home? And you'll be surprised how many of them don't sometimes. And it gives us the opportunity to hook up a time with them to go out and do this and install one. Some statistics for the year. We had 40 structure fires, 18 vehicle fires, 47 other fires, 1,939 medical calls, and public service calls 331, and false alarms 387. Our property loss, we had a structure fire value of $7,323,750 with only a loss of $309,575. The vehicle fires are running about 50% loss to value, the value $114,500 to $55,300. So our total losses last year was $364,875, but we saved of a value of $7,438,250. We have to submit a report every year to the National Fire Protection Association. And this breakdown shows we had 39 fires in private dwellings, 79 in apartments, no fires in motels, hotels, and then we had all other residences, 1. Total 47, again 297, 225 was the extended property damage. Public assembly, we had 3 of those with a loss of $10,050. 1 in stores and offices of $500, and $50 in a storage structure, for a total of $307,825. Fires in highway vehicles had 16, 3 in other vehicles, 4, 16 fires and brush fires, fires and rubbish, 6, all other fires, 1. Total for all fires, 103, and the total losses for all those were $370,125. The false alarm breakdown, we had 10 that was malicious. 66 was a malfunction, the lightning strikes, anything that falls into that. Unintentional, such as we were doing some painting at Station 2 the other day. One of my lieutenants said, well, he'll just loosen it and the pull station come off the wall. He come off the wall, so that's the alarm off when he comes off the wall. So unintentional faults, you know. Other false alarms, 35. A breakdown there, the intentional fires, we had 7 intentional set fires, 1 vehicle fire that was intentionally set. Confined fires were 20, non-confined fires were 27, 24 structure fires, and 31 non-confined fires. The major fires, 111 Bailey Street, this was an intentionally set arson fire. We caught the guy, arrested the guy less than 2 hours after the fire. 218 Sunnyside Drive and 204 East Arlington Avenue was a set fire too. And I got excited the other day. We had can't help but share this story to you. We had a fire in 2012, I believe it was, in Panorama Farms, and there was an arson fire, and part of the settlement was they had to make restitution to the city, and David, I was talking with David on the phone, and somebody come in and said they had this restitution check for an arson fire. I thought, okay, good, great. The first restitution check we got was $20.37, so man, got a ways to go on that. So. Showing a little bit of increase or decrease in alarm history. You can see from 2009, 2487, and we were climbing until 2012. And you see we went from 2012, a high of 3354, down to 2640. And, you know, one of the council's concern and the department's concern too, last year, we started evaluating our medical responses, and we changed how we respond to certain types of calls. We're basically responding to the Charlie Delta Echo calls, and then as requested by EMS, and we have seen a great reduction, a lot less calls that we weren't needed at, especially in the middle of the night and stuff of this nature. And actually, you know, as personnel are very receptive to the change, because it actually allowed them not to be woke up 4 or 5 times a night to run medical calls. Another figure that we're able to track now through our GIS department and Captain Keeley's Division of Fire Prevention is that we can tell you by your council district where the calls come from. This is the numbers for 2013. District 5 led the way at 646. Followed closely by District 1, 632. District 2, 519. District 3, 232. District 4, 300. And District 6, 138. And you know, some of that is driven by type of construction. Some of that's different by the age of construction. The ages of the population in certain areas. You know, the elderly population requires a lot more medical responses sometimes. A lot of those factors go into it. And then out in Greenville County, out of the city, we ran 60 calls in our fire district outside the city, and we ran 118 calls in our Spartanburg County Fire District outside the city. This time I'm going to turn it over to Captain James, and he's going to discuss a little bit about the medical calls.
Basically what it boils down to is the medical calls breakdown for Greenville County. We run 71% of our calls for medical for Greenville County, 29% of Spartanburg County. And then the breakdown as far as on the calls, you can see the different type of calls we have is abdominal pain, allergies, 1310. The major calls we had was breathing problems. And also we had chest pains, which that could be anything from somebody just having an angina attacks to actually having cardiac arrest. And then we have fall victims. We have a lot of that. People fall that's not able to take care of themselves. They fall out of bed. We have to pick them up. They request us to come. So we go out and take care of them. And that's really all I can really know what to say as far as that goes. Any questions as far as what we can?
That's the only number that we fill out.
No, and also on the medical calls, as far as from 2012 to 2013, which the reason the Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta calls, we've actually seen a reduction in calls to 22%. And that's the reason Chief Earler said about the 3,000 calls to 2,600 calls, there's a 22% drop in it. So, and that's a lot of people complain about it as far as running the calls at night, but you know, that's our job. That's what we're here for. So.
Only that number reflects the actual one that you had to fill before.
Okay. Now that's, well, as the Chief said, those are the reports that we've actually filled out. We have went out just to pick somebody up and didn't fill out a report on somebody. So. Wow.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I get to bring to you the thing I used to hate in school, the report card. I don't know how y'all feel about it. And since my eyes are getting older, I'm going to put these things on so I can see the smaller screen. Talk about the size of the city. As you can see, it's grown a little bit over just the last few years. It hasn't grown that much. We had a little change from 2012 to 13. Just a small change. Greer County area stayed basically the same. Spartanburg the same as far as our fire service district. Total coverage area grew just a bit, a little under a square mile. Road miles covered still stayed basically the same. Our population, as you can see, is growing a little bit at a time. We grew a little less than 1,000 this past year. So we are getting a few more folks moved in. Our dwelling units, we put a few, 100 and some odd new ones in. Business stayed basically the same. Our previous per square mile, or persons per square mile, glasses don't help much either. Basically the same thing. It actually is dropped just a 0.2. Our population, that's the main thing that we're looking at as far as the growth in that. Our coverage area, number of stations, we're still at 3 stations with our main station here, the station on Hood Road, and also our shared station that we share with Pelham Batesville. Average number of square miles covered by each station is 8.51. That's a little bigger than what it was last year. Average number of road miles covered is still 60. Number of firefighters, we went up 1 this past year. We were allowed to hire 1 more back, and we have 11 on 1 shift and 10 on the other 2 shifts. And then our daytime personnel is there for staff. Our number of volunteers, you'll notice that's a drop. We had 12 last year. We have 9 now. One of your own retired, and we've had some others to retire also. And you also see that we hired 2 of our volunteers on. So that number's going to change even more this year with some more retirements we just had in the past month or 2. Number of firefighters per square mile career is 1.37. Number of firefighters per square mile volunteer is 0.47. Our annual budget, $2,631,001. You'll see that was up a tad from the year before, but if you look back a few years, we're still under what we was then. We understand we have to take the crunch like everybody else in the city did, and hopefully some of the reports that Mr. Driggers gave earlier, things will get a little better. We'll see how that works out for everyone. Cost per capita, that didn't change much. Cost per day to operate went up a hair. I know when y'all go to the grocery store, you see how everything goes up. The power bill goes up, the water bill goes up. The same thing with us, so we have a little more of an increase there. And also that puts our cost per hour up a little bit. Demand for our services. Total calls for service, we've done went over that a good bit. You see that dropped, and you was explaining why that dropped some. Number of calls per 1,000 population, that dropped a little bit also along with that. Number of calls per square miles went from 135 down to 104. Which station has the most calls would be Station 1 or the headquarters station here downtown, and the one with the least, Station 4. And for some of you who may not know, that Station 4 is actually our third station that's shared. That throws, especially some of the people that's not sure what's going on with that. It may throw you off saying we got 3 stations and we talk about Station 4. Calls per station. Station 1 was 2014. Station 2, or Hood Road Station, is 573. And the station on Brockman and Climbing that we share, 69, which was up from last year. The other 2 actually went down a little bit. What percentage of calls are EMS related? 68.40. I think for the last, I don't know how many years, we stay right around the 70% range with that, and we're still there. What station has the highest EMS demand? That'd be Station 1. It covers the most area, it covers the most population. So that's natural for that to happen. Our average response time. We're still under the 5-minute mark. We like to try to get people out the door as quick as we can. Matter of fact, Chief and Fire Marshal remind us of that quite often about when our response times are changing any. So we still got those under 5 minutes citywide on average. Response times per station, headquarters is a little over 4.5. Our Hood Road station is 5.40. They've got a few more stretched out areas at the fingers on the outlying part of the city they have to get to at times also. And then Station 4, the Brockman Climbing Station, it's got the highest rate, and that's the station that's the furthest away from most things that it responds to the city also. Time of day, 1600, which is 4 p.m. That's when we're the busiest, or was for this past year. Station with the highest amount of concurrent calls is Headquarters Station, and these times, well, just February 28th, because I had to do some paperwork on that. It comes to my mind. I had 3 calls dropped within about 3.5 minutes. Just bam, bam, bam. We had trucks stretched out going everywhere and calling other people to help us. So we get a lot of concurrent calls coming in. Station with the lowest amount of concurrent calls will be Station 4. And I'm going to turn it over to Captain Holstein.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's been a great year for training. I'm super excited to get up here and talk about the training. I'm thankful for all the support with Mr. Driggers. Thank you, and Council, Mayor. We've had a great year. We've conducted ISO training. We've met all our marks. We've increased our training hours by 55% per man, and excited about the things to come. I conducted fire extinguisher training for citywide employees. Also hazard communication classes because OSHA changed their standards. And in trying to conduct CPR classes for businesses, worked real well with the gentleman at the strip club, and went down there and taught CPR classes to them and other businesses within the city, and staying busy with that. As you can see, this is our training hours, paid versus volunteer. One of those reasons is because we've had a decrease in volunteer. The manpower is not there to show that same number. I'm trying to hit that 10,000 hour mark. I'm working so hard and diligently trying to reach that 10,000 mark. Medical training. I'm super excited in what we've accomplished in medical training. New EMTs. We had some big names on there. Lieutenant Dwayne Brown completed his EMT training this year. Daniel Hansen, Warren Douglas, Chase Raper, and Scott Merrill and Joe Borelli all completed. And by you see that's currently finishing, if I can get those 7 through it this year, we will have 100% of our line staff or EMT or higher trained, and that is a big accomplishment for us. We did some other specialty training. We confined space operations, confined space rescue. We did a high angle class. We had a chance, we sent some to OSHA, or the OSHA hazmat technician class. It's a 40-hour class. And then we had a special treat. We had some that were able to take a man versus machine. It's kind of taking them into how to disassemble and get stuck body parts out of machinery. And we had 3 or 4 that were able to go to that and participate in that. So then you ask yourself, what are we doing to develop our leaders? What are we doing to increase that? Well, we had some officer development training. Captain Davis attended Leadership Greer in 2012 and completed in 2013, and then Captain Keeley is currently going through Leadership Greer. Chief Harvey attended the National Safety Council conference up in Chicago this past year, and then Lieutenant McConnell and Lieutenant Norris, they attended the National Staff and Command course up in Baltimore, Maryland. Well, Captain Keeley and I just got back from that this past week, and to be able to attend that, thank you very much, because it's made me a better person, it's made me a better leader, and it's increased my knowledge drastically. When you have the chief of the Atlanta Fire Department teaching your classes, it's quite an honor to be there. And then Captain Keeley, Captain Brown, and myself, we were able to attend the Bruno Senior Leadership Retreat in Charleston last year, and it was quite a challenge and a thrill to be able to. Some of you may have ever heard that name before. He's one of the renowned fire chiefs from Phoenix, Arizona. So what else do we do? Fire Officer 2. I'm pleased to say that all of our captains and lieutenants are Fire Officer 2 certified through the NFPA. They meet all the qualifications, and they completed that this year. It's a big challenge, and I was super proud of them all for the hard work that they put through the effort. Our recognitions and accomplishments. Captain Davis was selected as the 2013 Adjunct Instructor of the Year through the South Carolina Instructor Society. Captain James, Engineer Kevin Holtzclaw, Engineer Joe Borelli, Engineer Scott Merrill, and Engineer Scott Tompkins were honored for a cardiac arrest save, as well as myself and Engineer Randall Hipp. What that means is we had 2 patients that were in cardiac arrest within the city, and when the time they went to the hospital, they were in cardiac arrest. We got them back, and they made a full recovery and were discharged from the hospital. We actually got to meet them that day when we went to that ceremony, so it was a good thing. So on another note, what else have we changed in the fire department this year? Well, we're trying to go green. We're trying to make sure we work towards that green initiative, and we put in a water fountain filtration system. So not only do we have a water fountain, but we also have a way to fill bottles. So we're not, you can see there we've saved 2,968 bottles from going to the landfill. So we put one of those at each of our stations to help improve that. Our grants. We're still working on the SAFER grant. We have not heard. Yes, remember last year we came to you asking to go forth with that grant, and we still haven't heard a no or got a Dear John letter. So we're working on that equipment grant. We've got a couple of equipment grants out there that we're waiting to hear back on, and we were awarded the grant from the Municipal Association for some air monitors. Captain Brown.
Now here is a program that's very near and dear to my heart and Councilman Arrowwood's heart. Is the Explorers Post. The Explorers Post is a offshoot of the Boy Scouts of America. It provides an opportunity for young adults age 14 through 20 to become a part of the firefighting career, or at least learn about the firefighting career. They also have an opportunity to do police and EMS as well. Engineer Bradshaw back there in the back is our post advisor. He does a great job. He has 12 Explorers right now. They get to ride the truck. When they ride the truck, of course, we keep them safe. They have to stay in the truck, but they're able to at least sit back and be a person that can kind of take in the whole scene and kind of see how we do our job. But they also help out with tasks around the station, so it kind of gives them a hands-on kind of feel about the job of being a firefighter. But this past January, they were able to compete in Winterfest, or at Winterfest in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And this past summer, they went down to the Firefighters Convention in Myrtle Beach and also competed there as well. But one nice thing to know about this Explorers Post, we have used it to a tool to bring firefighters into the career, especially to hire them here at the Greer Fire Department. That's how I got started. Fire Marshal Keeley was an explorer. But just a little bit to talk about too, we have explorers, past explorers who work for the City of Charleston Fire Department, City of North Charleston Fire Department. We have one that's a paramedic now with Greenville County EMS. And then we've got one that just went to work for a little small department called the FDNY. Never heard of that. I think they have 5 or 6 firefighters working there. But pretty big to have an Explorer Scout that went to Riverside High School that was affiliated with the Greer Fire Department, who now works for the FDNY. So once again, this is a great program, and we're always proud to talk about it. Okay. Also, community is key. We like getting out and being seen. We were able to help this past year for the Big Thursday Bazaar. It's always really fun to get there and help with the auction. We have a lot of guys that have really gotten physically fit and very conscious about their physical fitness. And so we had some running the State Firefighter Fitness 5K, Barry, Josh, Carlos Cortez, who's probably lost close to 100 pounds in the last 2 years. We did the Fight for Air Climb, which is part of the American Heart Association, or excuse me, American Lung Association. It's a fundraiser for them. Some really handsome guys in that picture right there, especially one right kind of dead center. But anyhow, just kidding. And something that's really taken off for us as far as the community is birthday parties. I would say just about every Saturday we conduct a birthday party. It's a great time for the kids, but it's also a way for us to be able to do our public education. We do tours, we get dressed up. I mean, we set tables up, they bring the cake in. So it's a lot of fun. We enjoy it, the kids enjoy it, so it's just another way for us to reach our community.
Again, one that's near and dear to my heart, of course, was the Engine 2 restoration. As you can see, we participated in the St. Patty Day parade here a couple weeks ago, and City of Greenville had a great time. Had some of our firemen and some of their families with us, and it was a great day. I was able to drive just Greenville and back one of those close to 70-degree days. Also, as you can see, this picture we used at the funeral for Tom Oliver, and that's an event that we don't look forward to doing, but it is actually, the truck has worked out well for that purpose. And with that being said, I'm closing our presentation tonight. This is our 100-year logo, and this is Captain Brown worked very hard on producing this logo, and we want Mayor and Council to know our appreciation for supporting the Greer Fire Department. Not that you've been here for 100 years, by no means, you know. But we appreciate that you allowed us to get to our 100-year anniversary. And so in that tonight, we've got a little token of appreciation we would like to give you. It's one of our shirts that our firefighters are wearing on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday with the 100-year logo. You know, Captain Holzheimer and Brian, if you'd give those out to the council. And at this time, I'll open it up to any questions that you may have in regards to our report. I also will let you know that a PDF was emailed to you tonight, and you'll have this whole presentation in your email too. So even after tonight, if you have more questions, we're always available for those.
Council? Thank you, sir. Questions? Comments?
Thank you. Hey, Chief, I know the medical calls are down, based on the way we're responding. I know the calls are still coming into dispatch. What does that sound like?
They're basically, a lot of those calls now, Greenville EMS has started the Ask a Nurse program. If it looks like a call that they can send to Ask a Nurse, they send it to Ask a Nurse. And sometimes even an ambulance is not being sent out there. I mean, in some cases, I think that they're actually sending a taxi to pick the person up because they can bring them to an MD 360 or to the emergency room cheaper than EMS can. I mean, it's that trivial of I opened the drawer and I cut my finger on a knife. Well, it's how bad is it bleeding? Well, not bad, but they want to still have it checked out. Situations like that. And then the other calls are just ranked on the priority of a life-threatening injury or not. I'll let Josh address the Charlie Delta and Echo. You want more detail about it?
Charlie Delta and Echo is more life-threatening, and the Delta Echo is severely life-threatening. It just classifies what response. Everything Charlie Delta and Echo gets a fire department response and an ambulance and a supervisor for the EMS. So they try to send more manpower to the critical. That's how they break it down. It's just a flip. What it is a flip chart, and they ask them questions, and it codes it to go through to how to dispatch it out.
And also another factor too that's come into it is that, for a better lack of a term, the roving aspect that Greenville County has gone to with their ambulances now, they're constantly kind of moving them around to the projected areas, and they're getting a lot quicker responses to those calls now. Now there's still the times where we have to wait a little while for the calls, but the vast majority of them, they're able to get there quicker, and either there's even still some of the Charlie Delta Echo calls that were canceled when we get there because they've already arrived and assessed the situation, and they don't need us. So that's why that one report showed only like 800 something calls that we actually had to fill out. We actually did patient treatment on. The other numbers that go into there are a lot of lift assist calls, and there are those calls that we try to get DSS involved in because the situation is not what it ought to be, and it's basically kind of an abuse of the system. We've actually had them. Will you put them in the shower for me while you're here? That's not what we're there to help you get them back out of the floor and stuff. We'll go as far as we can, but we're not. So some of those, and we have some steady users, and as does any of the EMS is the same way. They go to reoccurring calls to the same location lots of times. But basically going to the Charlie Delta Echo response, cut out those calls at 3 o'clock in the morning. They all of a sudden, I've been sick in my stomach for the last 2 days. I think I ought to go to the hospital. Well, we don't need to be there. They just need to be transported. So those type of calls have been cut out from.
Others? Chief, gentlemen, we thank you for your time this evening and appreciate the report.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Look forward to celebrating 100 years.
Thanks, sir.
With that, we'll move to the administrator's report. Mr. Driggers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. A couple of calendar items just as reminders. This Thursday evening, we have the pleasure of joining members of our business community. The Greater Greer Chamber of Commerce will be sponsoring our first responders and public safety officers, fire and police recognition program. That will be this Thursday evening at the Cannon Center from 7 until 9 p.m. We're extremely grateful to our business community in sponsoring that program. It's an opportunity for them to recognize our men and women that, just like our folks that are here tonight, are presenting information that put their lives on the line each and every day. This is an opportunity for our business community to say thank you to them. They're going to have some wonderful prizes, some giveaways for our folks. In addition, they're inviting our employees in our public safety positions, along with their spouses or guests, to join them this Thursday evening. So I certainly hope you're going to be able to join us for that event as well. This is your last reminder that your ethics reports are due. The deadline is this weekend. So if you've not had the opportunity to get those submitted, I would highly encourage you to get those submitted before the conclusion of this weekend. They are due. And also, I will be asking of you to consider two items in executive session this evening. One of those is a personnel matter concerning evaluation, and the other is an economic development matter for your discussion and consideration. I'd also like to ask if Ann Cunningham would present some additional information to you about an exciting opportunity that we have this weekend. It's an inaugural event for us, but it's Greer Goes Global through our international festival, and I've asked Ms. Cunningham to provide some additional information about what we should expect this weekend.
Well, we're very excited to present the inaugural City of Greer International Festival, Greer Goes Global. This Saturday, March the 29th, at Greer City Park from 11 to 3. Admission is free to the public. And this event is one of many throughout the month of March, which is recognized as International Month through Upstate International in Greenville. This festival gives us an opportunity to come together and celebrate the many diverse cultures represented by those who live and work in the city of Greer. We have 11 featured countries that are participating in the festival this year, and approximately 30 countries representing different cultures, including entertainment, music, dancing and singing, children's crafts, inflatables, visual arts, storytelling, a magic show, and sports demonstrations. Food vendors will also be available to offer a taste of international cuisine. The City of Greer's 5th Annual Juried Art Exhibition will also be on display at Greer City Hall during the festival, and the exhibition is designed to recognize the quality and diversity of work by artists in the upstate, and entries will also reflect the theme, Greer Goes Global. Just to give you a little bit of a taste of what we're going to do, some of the scheduled events for entertainment, we will have jazz music performance. We have storytelling by Joada Hyatt and Ray White, Scottish music, we have magic show, Chinese lion demonstration throughout the park, African music, Scottish music, and children's Chinese dance performances. We'll also have food coming from all different countries, from Italy to the Philippines to Greece, Mexico, Scotland, and France. Some of our sports, we'll have a whole area that's designated for sports, so people can come over and try different sports. We'll have demonstrations throughout the day. We'll have cornhole, cricket, frisbee golf, hapkido, soccer and tai chi, Scottish Highland games, and then chess and ladder golf. And lastly, some of the crafts that we're going to be offering down at the Kids Zone, which is down at the picnic shelter. Not only will we have inflatables, but we'll have crafts. Children can make Chinese dragon puppets, babushka dolls from Russia, Greer Goes Global coloring pages, Mindy hands from India, origami from Japan and China, and face painting from African tribal to Australia. Got tongue twisted there. We have some of our staff that will be on television this week presenting. Robin Bayuk will be on Carolina Now on Wednesday. She and Julia Black will be on Your Carolina on Channel 7 on Thursday. And then Kay Reed, who has just been such a huge help for us. She is very big with the Greenville Scottish Games. She'll be going on the Carolina Scene with their spokesperson to also promote the International Festival on Thursday morning. We have many sponsors to thank. The mayor, thank you for all of your help, your support. Just two other things that we are going to do, I want to mention, is that not only is this for entertainment, but it's also for education. We have maps that we have printed, and we're not quite finished. But all of the 11 featured countries, children will be given stickers when they go by. There'll be certain questions that they can ask and hopefully learn about those cultures. And then the children, of course, who participate in the festival will be given certificates of appreciation for coming. So it's going to be an educational day and definitely an entertaining day. So I certainly hope you'll join us, and certainly hope that the public will join us too. And lastly, just want to go on to one other event. The next weekend, on April the 5th, we have opening day for baseball and softball over at Century Park on April the 5th. We'll have our opening ceremony that begins at 12 noon, our team parade, and then former Major League Baseball player Jose Alvarez will be there to throw out the ceremonial first pitch at approximately 12:30 to officially open the season. So again, we hope to see you there and love to have you there.
Great. Councilman, any questions? Ms. Cunningham? Looking forward to it. Thank you for all the work that y'all have put into it, and we know it is going to be a successful day. So thank you very much.
Good weather.
Good weather. We're going to have good weather.
Thank you.
Mr. Driggers, excuse me, have we got two separate, what are we considering executive?
Executive session, one personnel and one economic development.
Thank you, sir. Council, with that, then we'll move to items of new business, the first of which is the first and final reading of Resolution 3-2014. This is an allocation of Greenville County CDBG and home funds for the program year 2014. We are joined by Mr. Martin Livingston this evening, or earlier. I think he's still with us. I see Martin back there. Thank you for being here tonight. We discussed these funds in a prior meeting and have a good understanding of their use and value to our city and the way that they can be benefit to various different parts of the community and used in certain ways. And so with that, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Self.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. As you indicated, the resolution is consideration of the CDBG and home funds for the program year 2014. Figures that are presented in the resolution are unchanged from the presentation that Mr. Livingston made during the GCRA's annual action plan. Included in those is $39,000 in subrecipient funding. As new information in your packet is the report from GCRA in regards to recommendations for subrecipient funding for 2014. A quick review of those funding recommendations. City of Greer Parks and Recreation need more summer camp. Recommendations for $8,000. Operational costs of the program, supplies and activities. Creative Advancement Centers, recommendation $8,000 for personnel and operational costs. The Greer Community Ministries, $15,000 toward purchase of food for mobile meals, senior dining, and food pantry programs. Greer Relief Resource Agencies Incorporated, $7,000 for client mortgage rent payments and client utilities. And for the Brushy Creek First Assembly God Helping Hands Ministry, recommendation of $1,000 for gifts in kind and food program. Mr. Livingston's here. We can answer any questions in regards to the recommendations for subrecipient funding and in regards to the resolution before you.
Thank you, Council. The floor is open for questions or comments in regards to the recommendation that you see here, both from Mr. Livingston and staff. that's sufficient information in regards to the subrecipient request, Mr. Sell. Anything else you have in that regard?
No, sir.
All right. Council?
Motion to receive.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion to receive.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. We'll have the first and final reading of resolution number 4-2014, a resolution adopting the City of Greer annual safety statement. Chief?
This is one of our requirements through our Schmidt and Smurf guidelines. I can go into that for a little while longer. Maybe someday you like that. But, it is an annual requirement. It's basically saying that it's a continuous support of the Greer City Council. The safety is a priority in the city, and I'm not going to read the statement to you. You have it in your packet there. It's just an annual thing that we have to bring and have council pass.
Council, do I hear somebody that will support us being safe by making a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second in regards to the first and final reading of resolution 4-2014. Any further conversation in that regard? Chief, again, thank you for your work along with the safety committee. We appreciate all that you do, and we never underestimate or undervalue that work. We do appreciate it in regards to our Schmidt and our Smurf. With that then, any further comments? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. We'll have the first and final reading of resolution number 5-2014. This is a resolution to update the City of Greer blood-borne pathogen standard to comply with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration requirements. Chief?
OSHA requires that you annually put a statement in front of your policy, accepting the policy and noting any changes. There are no changes to the policy this year, and we present the policy as is and ask for council's approval.
Council will entertain a motion to receive 5-2014.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second in that regard. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, in executive session this evening, we have one economic development matter and one personnel matter to consider. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, we stand in executive session. Council in executive session, we consider one economic development matter, one personnel matter. I hear a motion to come out of executive session. So
David hasn't.
have a motion and a second.
Good.
And he put it on his list.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Arrowood, second by Ms. Booker. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Stand adjourned.